So I welcome you all to my IoT lecture series. So in this lecture, I am going to discuss about how data flow from sensor to cloud. So before we going to the diagrams, let us understand a simple idea behind this. In our daily life, we measure things like temperature, humidity, or motion. But how can we monitor the values from anywhere using a mobile phone? That is a big question. So we want to know the basic idea behind this concept. This is where IoT, that is Internet of Things, comes into picture. The IoT connects physical devices like sensor to the internet so that the data can be collected and accessed remotely. You just think of it like this. A sensor acts like our eyes. It observes the environment. A microcontroller acts like a brain. It processes information. Then the internet acts like a communication channel. The cloud acts like memory. It stores and analyzes the data. And finally, the application acts like a display. So it shows the information to the users. So the data travels step by step from the physical world to the user. The data flow in IoT means the movement of data from sensor to cloud and finally to the user. So now that we understand the basic concept, next let us see how this process actually happens using this complete diagram. Here we can see the complete data flow from sensor to cloud in an IoT system. This process includes 5 stages. The first one, sensor, next device or edge layer, then third one is communication layer, next cloud layer, and the last one is application layer, that is user interface. Let us quickly understand each stage. The first one, sensor layer. Here the sensors collect the data from the environment. Then microcontroller process the data. Next, the communication networks send the data. Fourth one is cloud, stores and analyze it. And finally, the user access the data through applications. So let us understand this step by step. First one, sensor layer. So at this first stage, we have the sensor layer. Here the sensor are the responsible for collecting data from the physical environment. For example, the temperature sensor measures the heat, the humidity sensor measures moisture, then motion sensor, it detects the movement. So these sensors convert physical values into electrical signals. So this is where the data generation starts. In next second stage, that is second layer, is device or microcontroller layer. This sensor is connected to microcontroller. It may be Arduino or is ESP32 or Raspberry Pi processor. So this device reads the sensor data, then converts analog signals to digital form. Finally, it performs basic processing. For example, it converts voltage into temperature in degrees Celsius. So this layer acts as a bridge between sensor and communication systems. And third one is communication layer. So after processing, the data is sent through the communication layer. This includes Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee and LoRa. So depends upon our application, we need to choose either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or Zigbee. Then protocols such as MQTT or HTTP are used to transmit the data efficiently. In some applications, we may use COAP protocol also. So the users can select depends upon their applications. So this layers ensures data transfer from device to cloud. Next, the fourth one is a very important layer, that is called cloud layer. Now the data reach the cloud platform from sensor, it passes through the device or edge layer, then communication layer, finally it reach cloud. So in the cloud, the data is stored in database, then it gets processed, finally the analytics are performed. Here the cloud platforms like AWS or Azure, it will help in analyzing the large amount of data. So this converts raw data into useful insights. So this is how the data is transferred from sensor to cloud. Then last one is application layer. Finally the processed data is shown in the application layer. It includes mobile app or web dashboards. So from this, the user can monitor the real-time data, receive alerts, and based on this, they make some decisions. So this is where the user interacts with system. So this is the overall idea behind how the data flow from sensor to cloud. So to understand this more clearly, let us we can simplify this flow using some basic diagram. First one, if you see, this is the basic IoT data flow. Here also we have 5 layers starting from sensor to user application. The first one, sensor, it processes the data. That means this process always starts with sensor. So the sensor collects real-time data such as temperature, humidity or light. Next, the data is sent to microcontroller. This device reads the data and perform some basic processing. After that, the processed data is transmitted through a communication network. This can be an Wi-Fi, Bluetooth or other wireless technologies. Then the data reaches the cloud server. The fourth layer is cloud. Here the data is stored, processed and analyzed. Finally, the information is displayed in the user application such as mobile app or web dashboard. So the flow is first starting from sensor, then microcontroller, it reaches the cloud through communication network, finally the user application. So let us understand the same concept with some real-time example. Here I have taken the temperature sensor. So it measures the temperature from the environment. Then the sensor is connected to Arduino or Raspberry Pi processor. This device reads the sensor data and converts it into a digital format. Next, a Wi-Fi module is used to connect the system to the internet. It sends the data to the cloud. The data travels through the internet and reach the cloud platform such as AWS, that is Amazon Web Service IoT Cloud Platform. In the cloud, the data is stored in database and processed using some analytic tools. This helps in identifying the patterns and trends. Finally, the processed data is shown in mobile app or dashboard where the user can monitor values in real time. So this example clearly shows how a raw data becomes meaningful information. Next, we can discuss the layered architecture view. This is the layered architecture of an IoT system. So at the bottom we have sensor layer. So this layer is responsible for collecting the data from the environment. Then above the sensor layer is a device layer. It includes the microcontrollers like Arduino, which process the data. The next is the network layer. This layer handles communication using technologies like Wi-Fi, Zigbee, MQTT or HTTP. The above that is the cloud layer. This layer performs data storage, processing and analytics. Finally, we have the application layer. This is where the user interacts with the system through mobile app or dashboards. So the data flow upwards from the sensor to the application layer, converting data into useful information. So finally, in IoT system, it collects the real world data, process it and send it to the cloud and present useful insight to the users. So this is the foundation of smart applications like smart homes, healthcare and smart cities.